Hello and welcome. Find a comfortable chair, perhaps pour yourself a warm drink, and settle in as we open the pages to another timeless mystery. Tonight we journey back to the foggy streets of 19th century London in Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's classic, A Scandal in Bohemia. To Sherlock Holmes, she was always the woman. He seldom mentioned her under any other name. In his eyes, she eclipsed and predominated the whole of her sex. It was not that he felt any emotion akin to love for Irene Adler. All emotions were abhorrent to his cold, precise, but admirably balanced mind. And yet, for him, there was but one woman. Dr. Watson had not seen Holmes for some time. The doctor's marriage had drifted them away from each other. But one night in March of 1888, Watson found himself passing the old door on Baker Street. A sudden desire to see his friend swept over him. The rooms were brilliantly lit, and he could see Holmes' tall, spare figure pass twice in a dark silhouette against the blind. Knowing his friend was at work again, Watson rang the bell. Holmes greeted him with a warmth that was rare. "Work, is it?" Watson asked, gesturing to the papers. "Yes, my dear Watson. I'm expecting a client, and I think he may prove to be interesting." As he spoke, the sound of horses' hooves and the grating of wheels announced the arrival of a magnificent carriage. A man stepped out. He was immense, both in height and build, dressed in clothes of an almost barbaric richness. A black mask covered the upper part of his face. He entered the room with an air of absolute authority. "You are Mr. Sherlock Holmes, I presume. I have been told that you are a man to be trusted." "You may speak freely," said Holmes. "My friend, Dr. Watson, is a man of absolute discretion." "My name is Count von Kramm. I am a Bohemian nobleman. I am here today on a matter of the utmost importance, one which could affect the entire history of Europe. Pray, be seated, and tell me your story." The nobleman sat, burying his masked face in his hands. "The truth is," he said, "I am not a count. My true identity must remain a secret. I am the king of Bohemia." "Indeed," Holmes said calmly. "I had surmised as much." The king stared in astonishment, then removed his mask. He told them his story. 5 years ago, he had met an adventuress known to the world as Irene Adler. He described her as having the face of the most beautiful of women and the mind of the most resolute of men. But now the king was to be married, and his past with Irene Adler, if revealed, would ruin everything. The source of his fear was a compromising photograph of the two of them together. "She threatens to send it to the princess's family. We must get that photograph back, Mr. Holmes. We must." The next morning, Holmes went out disguised as a drunken groom. He returned that evening, satisfied. He had discovered not only Irene Adler's routine, but also that she was now deeply involved with a lawyer named Godfrey Norton. In fact, Holmes himself had been pulled off the street to act as the official witness to their secret wedding that very day. Holmes then laid out his plan for that evening, a plan in which Dr. Watson was to play a crucial part. That evening, Holmes, now disguised as a kindly old clergyman, positioned himself and Watson outside Briony Lodge. Just as Irene Adler stepped from her carriage, Holmes rushed forward into a staged scuffle and fell to the ground, seemingly injured. Irene, a kind woman, insisted he be brought into her sitting room to recover. This was the moment Holmes had waited for. As they laid him on the couch, Watson, on signal, tossed a smoke rocket into the room and shouted, "Fire!" The effect was instantaneous. Smoke filled the room. In the manufactured panic, Watson saw Irene rush across the room to a sliding panel just above the fireplace, open it, and reach inside. In that moment, she had revealed the photograph's hiding place. Realizing the alarm was false, Holmes made his apologies, and they departed. Walking home, he explained it to his friend. "You see, Watson, it was quite simple. When a woman's house is on fire, her instinct is to rush to the thing she values most. She showed me its hiding place as plainly as if she had pointed to it. But when they arrived at Briony Lodge the next morning to retrieve the prize, the nest was empty. The house was deserted. A letter on the table was addressed to Sherlock Holmes. He read it, a look of astonishment, then admiration crossing his face. "My dear Mr. Sherlock Holmes, you really did it very well. Until the fire alarm I had no suspicion, but then I knew I had betrayed myself. I had been warned that if the king employed an agent, it would be you. As for the photograph, you may rest easy. I leave a different photograph which the king may care to possess. I am keeping the one he fears only for my own protection." When the king arrived, he was relieved to hear the news. He offered Holmes a priceless emerald ring as a reward. "Your Majesty has something which I should value even more highly," Holmes said. "You have but to name it. This photograph." Holmes took the portrait that Irene had left behind, a photograph of herself alone. And so that was how a great scandal threatened a kingdom, and how the best-laid plans of Sherlock Holmes were beaten by a woman's wit. He used to make merry over the cleverness of women, but his friends did not hear him do so of late. And when Sherlock Holmes spoke of Irene Adler, or referred to her photograph, it was always under the honorable title of the woman. And so concludes A Scandal in Bohemia, a tale wherein intellect and wit prove to be a formidable match. We would be delighted to hear your thoughts on this classic story. Who do you believe was the true victor in this intellectual duel? Holmes or the woman? Leave your analysis in the comments below. If you enjoy these journeys into the world of classic mystery and literature, please support our library of tales by subscribing to the channel and turning on notifications. There are many more stories waiting to be told. Until next time, thank you for listening.